Domain monetization through domain parking, that's what I'm going to cover in this video. What's up everybody, my name is David, I hope you're having a great day. So domain name monetization through domain name parking. So domain parking, cash parking, whatever you want to call it, is a way to monetize your domain names. This type of monetization strategy works best for domain names that have type in traffic and some sort of commercial intent. Think, I don't know, cheapflightsthailand.com or freecreditscorecheck.com, a domain name that someone would literally type into a web browser. So you'll have a domain that gets organic traffic of like maybe 50 visits a month, 200 visits a month, something like that, each and every month consistently. You can always check the traffic levels of a domain name using a keyword research tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush or Ubersuggest. So again, you want to be on the lookout for a domain name that's getting organic search traffic, ideally type in traffic. And you can also look for expired domains that already have a backlink profile and maybe are already ranking a little bit and are getting organic search traffic, whatever. Usually expired domain names are usually a little bit more valuable. So to get expired domain names, I suggest using dropcatch.com or expireddomains.net. You'll also want to pick the right monetization platform for your domain. So if your domain names are like low traffic and maybe you're more of a beginner at this, then you want to go with like GoDaddy's cash parking offer or Sedo.com. If you're a proper domainer and you have a big domain profile and you're already making money and you know what domains you have actually get search traffic, actually are getting that type in traffic, then you want to look at like Parking Crew or Botus. And finally, don't be lazy, be open to testing different platforms and pay attention to the analytics. So give a platform like 1 to 3 months, see what the CPM is that you're earning per domain, as well as the click-through rate of the ads being displayed. And if you're not happy with the performance, then move that domain name to a different parking service. And if after trying a few different parking services, it's just not working, if all else fails, then just list the domain name for sale. Now, to be honest, this business model is definitely going to follow an 80-20 rule. Like, let's say we have 100 domains that we go and park. Well, maybe like 10 of those domains are going to earn like $1 to $5 a month. And maybe, just maybe, you'll have like 1 or 2 standout domains that earn $10 or more per month. The whole goal is to curate and find a portfolio of domain names that are at least earning like $5 a month, I would say. Because then it just becomes a math problem. Like you have 100 domains and each domain is earning at least $5 a month. Well, then that's $500 a month passive income just because you own a bunch of domain names that are parked at a parking service. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's jump into my laptop and I'm going to walk you step by step on how to take your domain names at Namecheap and then park them at Sedo so you can earn ad revenue on your domain names. Like always, make sure to check the description for links to Namecheap, timestamps, and any additional resources mentioned in this video. So let's begin. Welcome to my laptop. Let's begin. So step 1 with parking a domain name is to actually get a domain name. So I recommend Namecheap, particularly if you want to get into the domain parking business model, because renewal rates are what's going to eat into your costs. Because again, you want domain names that are earning like $5 a month, $3 a month, $7 a month from ad revenue. And so you don't want a domain name renewal rate that's like $30 a year, because that eats into a lot of your profit. Anyways, to get started with Namecheap is very simple. You just navigate over here and then enter in the domain name that you want to register in the search bar, and then you click on search. So I have my super amazing website.com. Let's go ahead and click on search. Then on the next page, it will tell you whether or not your domain name is available to register. Now, if it is, you can just click on add to cart, but if it's not available, then you need to click up top here and then enter in a different word combination. And then everything else over here, these related suggestions, you can take a look at your own pace. But if you're ready, click on add to cart if the domain name is available. And once you do that, you're going to see this red checkout button in the right-hand corner. Go ahead and click on that. And then you're taken to the shopping cart page. So over here, you have your domain registration and domain privacy. So domain name registration, you can register this domain name for up to 10 years in advance, which is fantastic, which is why I love Namecheap and domain name registers so much. And domain privacy is included for free, and you absolutely want this because part of the information that you need to provide ICANN when registering a domain name is a lot of personal information like your name, email, phone number, address, and so forth. So domain privacy keeps all of that private. So absolutely you want this enabled. Anyways, when you're ready to register your domain name, all you need to do is click on confirm order, and then you'll be prompted to create a Namecheap account. So once you're over here, all you have to do is log into your Namecheap account or create a Namecheap account if you don't already have one. So once you log in, this is what you're going to be looking at. This is the checkout page. So just make sure everything is correct with domain name registration and domain name privacy. And when you're ready, just submit payments. Next up is Sedo.com. So this is the website and domain name monetization platform we're going to be using. So you need to create an account. So click on the register button over there if you don't have an account. Then you need to enter in your email, username, and password. Then click on continue. Once you do that, you'll have to fill out my account details. So just enter in the required information like your first name, street number, zip code, country, and so forth. Then when you're ready, click on create an account. And once you submit all your information correctly, you'll land on this page, which is, hey, thanks for signing up, and just verify your email to make sure that it's you. Once you verify your email, you're going to be prompted to log into your account, so just do so. Then you're going to be looking at your domain management portal. So right here, you have your parked earnings and you have your marketplace earnings right here. So your marketplace earnings are the amount of money you've made from selling domain names through Sedo, and your parked earnings are the amount of money you've made from your parked domain names that are running ads. So let's go ahead and click on the logo and navigate back to the homepage over here. Now, if you navigate over here to your little account icon thingy, you have a bunch of different items to click on and explore. So I recommend doing that when you have time. But we want to go ahead and park our domain name. So let's go ahead and do that. So click on the Park Domains tab right here. Then it's going to take you to a sales page for some reason. I have no idea why it does this, but you need to click on this button right here to set up domain parking now. Once you do that, you're going to be directed to this onboarding wizard thing, whatever you want to call it. And here you just add in your domain names that you want to sell and park. So you have two options. You can enter in your domain names manually, or you can use a professional bulk uploader if you have a lot of domain names that you want to list. Anyways, when you're ready, type in the domain name that you want to park. All right, so I have davidtutorial.com right there, and make sure to click on the little check box right there to say I have read the marketplace agreement and all that. So you should read these agreements and go through them just briefly, nothing crazy. Anyways, when you're ready, click on go to step 2, and it's going to take you to this onboarding section right here for your domain name. Domain sign up and pricing. All right, so now we're on step 2 for pricing our domains on the domain sign up page. All right, so we have our domain name over here, and you have a few different things to click on that I do want you to understand. So first, right here is the price point. So this is the price point that you want to sell the domain name for if you want to sell it. You don't have to sell your domain, okay? But if you want to list it for sale, you enter in the price right here, so $500, then you keep it as this buy now. So the user can buy this domain name for $500. If you click over here and then you make it so it says make an offer, then you have to enter in a minimum offer. So if I enter in a minimum offer over here of $250, what would happen is then someone makes an offer for this domain name and they'll be prompted saying, hey, the minimum offer for this domain name is this price point immediately. So they kind of know like where the negotiation process begins. All right. And so that's why you want to set it as like make an offer. Like this is the price point I want to sell the domain name for, but make an offer just like that. You just want to negotiate with a potential buyer, minimum offer. I'm not going below this price point for this domain. Anyways, me back out of that and we'll back out of this. And I'm just going to put not for sale. Okay. Because we're not selling the domain name. At least I'm not selling the domain name with Sedo. All right. So now you have domain and project and you're like, project, what is that? All right. If you're selling a website, you list it right here. So you have a WordPress website, ghost.org website, whatever, you can list the website for sale over here, the project. So that's what you want to do if you're selling a website, which we're not doing. We're selling a domain name. So I'm going to have it be the domain name, not for sale, project domain, just leave it as domain. When you're ready, click on go to step 3. Next up is step 3, activate Sedo MLS Premium. Now, this is for if you're going to sell your domain name through Sedo, which is not what we're doing. We're just parking the domain name so we can earn ad revenue. So if you want, you can just scroll down, click finish adding domains, click the big green button right there. But let me go ahead and just explain what's going on this page. All right, so MLS, what does that mean? It means multiple listing service. So Sedo multiple listing service. Now, it's going to list your domain name on a wide range of marketplaces for greater exposure, and that's it. Then you have the premium. So the premium has specific perks that they list out over here. So reach more buyers globally, sell names 3 times faster, transfer domain names instantly to buyers, and receive payments faster. And for all this, you pay a 20% commission, whereas Sedo MLS, the vanilla version, is just 15%. Next up is the registrar right there. Now we do want to select Namecheap from this dropdown because we do have to verify that we are the owners of this domain name. And so we want to give accurate information to Sedo about where the domain name is registered at. Now you see all these like little S's right there. Well, if your register supports seller side support, then you can activate Sedo MLS Premium. I can tell you right now, Namecheap is not part of this. So you're not going to see Namecheap up top here with the S. So you see seller side support. You got to scroll down and then you see all registers right there. Simply look for Namecheap. Now you have Namecheap 2 and Namecheap, just select Namecheap. And when you're ready, click on Finish Adding Domains. Okay, so your domain names are currently being reviewed and the review process will happen manually if you don't do anything. So how's it going to happen manually? Well, when you're setting up your Sedo accounts, well, you have to enter in your first name, last name, address, all that information. Now, when you register a domain name at Namecheap, you have to do the same thing. First name, last name, your street address, email, phone number, all that information. They're going to see like if the two match and if you are the actual owner of the domain name that you submitted. Now, you can skip over that and use the self-verification service right here, which I do recommend because the manual process takes days. It's like, who's got time for that? and then down here, if you just scroll down, you'll see domain parking over there. But first, you need to verify domain name ownership. And I definitely recommend going through the self-verification service. So just click over here for the self-verification service. Once you do that, you'll be on the My Domains page. So if you're curious, like, how do I navigate to this page anyways? You navigate over here and we're under this section right there where it says My Domains. Then you just click on the tab that says Domain Ownership Verification. So you'll have your personal ID over here, which is quite important and you don't want to share that with anyone. Then you need to copy that into your domain name registrar. So over here, it says how to self-verify your ownership. Very simple. Copy your personal ID, log into your registrar, edit, add DNS settings, then enter the ID verification into the field as a text record. And then if the host requires you to enter a host name, just have this symbol right there. And then if you need a TTL value, just enter in 3,600. Then your ownership will be verified once DNS information is updated. Very simple. So let's get started verifying our domain name. The self-verification process for Sedo. So let's get started. Log into your Namecheap account, find your domain name, click on the Manage button right here. It's going to take you to this page over here. And then you want to navigate to Advanced DNS right there. Click on that item. Then you'll be on this page over here. And right down here where it says Host Records is where you can add in the text record. So you want to click on the Add a New Record button right there. And then you want to scroll down and find where it says Text, TXT record. That's what we want. So we need a host name and we need a value name. So the value name should be the verification ID that you have on this page, and the host name should be the @ symbol. Okay, so you can just leave the TTL as automatic. You don't need to change that. Some domain registers require you to enter in a value, so that's why Sedo is giving you that 3,600 number. That's not required for Namecheap, but the host name and the value are required, as well as the text record. Anyways, when you input everything correctly, all you have to do is click on the little green check mark. And finally, because we're already in our Namecheap account, let's go ahead and update our name servers to point to Sedo parking. So just scroll down a little bit. Your name servers are right here and you want to switch it over to custom DNS settings. Then you need to copy and paste, or you can just type this in if you want. ns1 sedoparking.com and ns2 sedoparking.com. Okay, so I have the custom name servers entered, and all you have to do is click on the little green check mark right there. And it says DNS server update may take 48 hours to take effect. Normally it's a bit faster than that, but it's not instantaneous. Anyways, you are good to go. All right, everyone, it really is that simple to set up domain parking with Sedo.com. All you have to do is verify domain ownership and then update the DNS settings on the back end. Once you do all that, just give it 24 hours or so to propagate, and then everything should be working. Now, there are a few tiny little steps that you still need to do. So under your account right here, let's navigate to this, My Sedo. You want to click on parking reports right there. Once you click on that, you're going to see this form at the top right there. So GDPR, just confirm that you agree to the terms right there. Then you're going to navigate to parking certification, which is the premium ad provider certification. So you're going to certify that I will not click ads on my domains. I will ensure that there are no incentives for visitors to do so. I certify that this information in this form is true and best in my knowledge, etc., etc., etc. So just fill out this form. When you're ready, click on continue with premium certification. Once you finish all of that, it'll say thank you and you can download the contract right here, then click on done. And boom, it's as simple as that. So now you have your domain parking analytics right here. So like I said in the very beginning, you want to pay attention to your analytics. So your click-through rate, your RPMs, and how much traffic your domain is getting. So over here, you can see that with uniques, clicks, earnings, etc., your EPC, RPM, and your click-through rate, which is CTR. And right down here, you have all your uniques, clicks, earnings, etc. So again, just make it a habit as you're building up your domain portfolio to check in on your analytics, maybe on a monthly basis, every 2 weeks, every week, whatever you think is best. And finally, how to get paid. So Sedo has a $20 minimum payout, but once you reach that threshold, where does the money go? Well, you need to set up payout settings. So to find this page, you navigate over here to your account, navigate all the way to the bottom right there, click on account. You'll be on the My Account page, then click on Payout Details, then simply click on Add. So you can add PayPal or you can set up direct deposit via a bank account. And this is what the landing page looks like for the domain name. So right at the top right here, you have the domain name, and then front and center, ads will begin appearing here. Again, just be patient. Let the domain name verification process complete, your DNS settings complete and propagate, etc. Anyways, that is it for this tutorial. All right, everyone, that's it for this tutorial video on how to park your domain names and earn ad revenue. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button. My name is David. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.